Okay, Kermit Weeks here, and I'm actually not at Fantasy of Flight, but I'm from Fantasy of Flight. We have some beautiful mountains around here. I'm actually at the Cottonwood Airport in Sedona, north of Phoenix, and I have come here to pick up an airplane I've always wanted. My wife and I, way over there in the mountains, you can kind of see that's where Sedona is. We have a piece of property. We marry ourselves every year over there, and I came here. I can see it in the back. Pretty cool airplane. We shall see. Oh, and here's somebody. What's happening, man? How you been, man? I've not seen you in a long time. Yeah, good. Awesome. Good. I don't think when's the last time I saw you? 10
it's been
years
a while.
ago?
About 10 years ago. Spot on.
Unreal. Oh my God.
There
So
she is.
check this out. Pretty cool. I've never actually flown one, but I'm certainly looking forward to it. So when my wife and I were getting married and hanging around Sedona, this airplane was flying around overhead, hopping rides at the Sedona airport. You know, we always used to watch it fly around. It kind of has some history with me, and I know how long did you run the ride operation up there?
For over 20 years and
oh my gosh,
25 years. And so, yeah, this airplane spent a lot of time circling Sedona, and she's our girl.
Oh my gosh. And this was, you've had like a number of these, right?
Correct. We've had quite a few over the years, but this one is serial number 74.
Mm-hmm.
Brought it in basically back in 1998, December 98. So she's been with us ever since.
So this is one of the older ones, because I know they started making them about, when, 95 or?
95, yes, was when the first one flew around Lansing, Michigan, and then that was serial number 1.
I'll be darned. So this is 74. Oh,
actually, I'm sorry, 1985.
Oh, 1985.
85.
Okay, so it's been around for a while.
That's correct.
It's hard to find tail dragger pilots?
Hard to find tail dragger pilots.
Really?
But no, again, it was a tough decision for me to make to say goodbye to flying Sedona with the biplane, but it was time for us to venture into new waters. And, we're definitely doing the helicopter thing, and it's good. But someday, once again, Kermit, we never know. Maybe we'll bring it back.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I'm looking forward to getting this thing maybe back to Florida, and if you ever get down that way, you certainly have to come by and check it out.
Absolutely. Definitely.
So this is totally new to me, and I understand you all have done a fairly extensive annual. It hasn't flown in a while.
Well, one of the upgrades, Kermit, as I mentioned on the phone, was we went to the MT prop,
right?
The MT hub. That was one of the upgrades.
So the prop's never flown yet?
No, this is a brand new zero-time prop.
Huh.
A couple other items that we addressed. Well, again, the later model Supers have the balanced rudder, as we talked about again.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely gives a little more rudder authority.
Yeah, that's a pretty big rudder without it.
The Supers again have a 6-inch difference in the back cockpit, so a little more leg room.
This right here was added. Were these on the original ones?
Correct, yes.
Yeah, okay, so they just added the balance on the other one.
Correct. And increasing useful load on the Supers for hopping rides and whatnot. Standard range tanks, as you can tell up top, which they, as we again discussed, standard range tanks are, in my book, the better of the two rather than long range. It flies better.
So and these are 24 gallon a piece?
34 and a half.
34 and a half, okay.
15 gallons an hour is pretty much what you can count on with the Jake.
So is it just the wing tanks, or is there any fuselage tank like a header tank?
Just the
wing, or okay. Do you switch between tanks, or you just drain them from both?
You can. You have as when you get in the back cockpit, you'll find the T handles on the left and the right. Of course.
Oh, so you just shut one off.
Correct. But again, for takeoff landing, you want both of them on.
Right.
And once you're out on cruise, maybe you want to shut a tank down and burn one down. You can do that too.
Right.
But otherwise, yeah, both tanks on for takeoff and landing. Of course, we talked about the bracket air filter and assembly.
Right.
Make sure that your cotter keys are in, and otherwise it will, as we've said, it could possibly eject itself.
I'll be darned. So basically, it's a new prop. You guys torqued it before, and you were saying how you came back and checked it and retorqued it again.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. And it was still a little loose. So, and you said something about touching with your fingers.
Just double checking the faceplate, just temperature-wise. Just putting your fingers on there, make sure it's not warm.
Okay. And if it is, it's wobbling.
You
Okay.
don't want that prop walking in the hub. That's
Good.
right.
Good.
The brakes, they use the Cleveland brake assemblies. Works real well, of course.
Okay. You said they can be pretty sensitive. People flip them on the back.
Yeah, I don't believe in brakes. I don't believe in brakes, but when you need them, they're there. When
Yeah.
the tail's down, sticks back, you've got great braking action.
Good. And this is 275 horsepower?
275 horsepower. It's a
Okay.
755 B2M, which is, the B2M stands for, it's been modified to dual magnetos.
Oh, I
Originally
see.
they had a battery ignition and a magneto.
Ah.
But then they came out with the Dusters conversion, and they went to the 2-mag. So anytime you see the B2M, that's showing the conversion to the engine for the dual mags, the Bendix Sectilla mags.
Oh, it's
Okay.
interesting. Oh, I see. That's a. That's just the aileron push arm right there at the bottom.
Bell crank, correct.
Yeah. Okay.
That's another item that when you're doing your free fly, just double check the bell crank. On the back half of the bell crank and the forward half, you have a cotter key. Make sure the cotter key's in place.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. Right. It's got fiberglass wheel pants, but it's got a metal cowl. Yeah, maybe give me a little cockpit check here. Okay, that's obviously the trim, and that's the indicator right there. So trim, takeoff, nose down, nose up.
Correct.
Tail wheel.
Engaged, disengaged.
Okay, so you basically were ready for takeoff. You go there. But you said this thing actually has a steerable tail wheel?
Yes. So basically, once you have the tail wheel engaged in the
Right.
aft position, from center you have 15 degrees from center each way.
Yeah, okay.
If you were to force the tail past that, it potentially can
So it's
shoot the pin.
Yeah, it's basically just using it on the, just
Takeoff and
taxiing without, yeah, okay. Oh,
And you can taxi with it.
Okay, yeah, like if you're on a straightaway, like on a taxiway. But otherwise, if you're on the ramp, just leave it
Leave
unlocked.
it engaged.
Yeah, okay.
Disengaged, excuse me.
Okay.
Of course, yes, you got the trim, and then throttle, mixture, carb heat,
Yeah, because it's a fixed pitch prop. There's no.
correct. And then as you look down towards the floor, you've got a T-handle. That's for brake. I do not recommend using
Yeah,
brake,
yeah,
and
yeah.
Waco says the same thing.
Yeah.
Coming up the panel,
Let me
traditional
see
catch.
under here. So I'm looking at.
Oops, I'm sorry.
So there's the fuel.
Fuel selector, correct.
Okay,
that's
so
off.
that's
or
off.
on. Nope.
That's
No, off.
pull
I'm sorry.
off.
Yep. Push
All right.
on. I'm sorry, I'm upside down here.
Yeah, there's one over here too.
And then
Okay.
there's your-
Okay, so just
Correct.
basically just take off and land with them all forward, unless for some reason you want to shut one off cross country to make sure, or you see one leaking or something.
Kermit, for you, the most important item in this airplane, I have to be really honest for you.
Yeah.
So right over here to the far right hand side, see that black knob?
Yeah.
That's the heater control.
Oh, I see. It's got a heater?
It has a heater.
No
For you
freaking
Floridian
way.
people.
No way.
It works well.
Okay, it doesn't say anything there, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, you'll,
Or that's
you'll
the
enjoy that.
destruct switch. Okay, so for the headset,
Now behind
music. What the hell is that?
Yeah, the music input. You want to plug your headset actually behind your right hand shoulder on the back of that ball.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, back there.
Correct. That's the primary one. That's a secondary reserve or emergency jack.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so the key switch, obviously there's a key somewhere.
Yep, it's right up here on the glare shield.
Okay. And we've got, and is this, it's got a combination for the,
000. That's our top secret combination.
don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anybody. Top secret.
Okay, battery master.
Yep, alternator.
And what runs off the alternator?
Well, all your avionics.
Okay.
Alternator will not come online with this Jake until about a little over 1,000 RPM.
Okay.
You'll see the low voltage light will illuminate initially, and then once you're above 1,000, it will go out. 28-volt system.
But it'll run off the 24-volt battery.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
So you can talk to ground or something if you're
Correct,
taxiing out.
absolutely.
Okay, so we got all circuit breakers, make sure they're in. We got some lights, I'm not going to need those. Avionics master.
Push to start on the far right-hand side also, just above the...
Oh, I see, okay.
Yep.
Okay, that's that. And when you go to start, there's a primer somewhere?
Your primer is right here.
Okay, just a regular old primer.
Regular old primer. I recommend at
Lock.
least about 6 squirts cold, 6 to 7.
Okay.
And then back primer in lock. And then
Yeah.
you want to
Crack it a little bit.
crack the throttle quarter. And then mags on both. And then ready for start.
Yeah, okay. So that takes care of all this. This just shows your amperage or whatever, and that'll voltage light. Okay, so let's go over here and look at, okay, the flying panel, basically, you know, the RPM, got manifold pressure, so there's your engine, got airspeed, altitude, freaking, I don't need all this crap.
Nope.
I don't need, I'm gonna have a little GPS with me, so, but it's got VORs over here, so it's got dual VORs. One of them's a damn ILS.
Yep.
Holy
with
crap.
lights up.
Oh my God. Vertical speed, altimeter. What's field elevation here?
Field elevation is just a little over 3,400.
Okay. Okay, that's that. Oh, we got oil pressure, oil temp in Fahrenheit. So what's that run? Because I'm usually used to centigrade.
Your oil temp?
Yeah, what's that usually run?
About 150 to
Okay.
175.
Yeah, okay. Okay, it gets down in Florida, it might get a little warmer. It'll put that cooler to use. So this is all lights, pitot heat, strobe, nav light. I'm not gonna need any of that stuff. Man, it's been a while since I used one of these kind of radios. I'll have to get checked out on that. Cool. Stick, I know how to use that, rudder, and yeah, so I have to kind of put my feet a little sideways if I didn't want to use the brake where I'm sitting. It's okay to turn the master on, isn't it?
Yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, there's no...
Well, the
Yeah.
way they've tied the master with, I believe, one of the breakers. Just want to be advised sometimes that there is a possibility, and especially with the contactor, and I think you're fine, but go ahead. Everything's
Yeah,
clear. Go ahead.
I got the brakes. Let me just turn on. Okay, Avionics master. It's got a transponder. This I think I've got to get this updated. I'm not going to need that GPS because I've got my own. Okay, so these I'm all familiar with. Oh, I see. Okay, so it's just dual nav and comm. So the VORs are over here and the things are over there. Yeah, okay. Swap them out that way. Well, that's cool. I might play with a VOR. I haven't used damn VOR since I can remember. I'm used to following roads. I look for road signs. Primer. Oh, cool. Okay, so got an intercom. Intercom. Squelch. What's the one in the middle here? Pilot ISO.
Okay, yeah, that's, you can isolate yourself from.
Oh, I see. So
basically from the
so if you want to talk to the tower, you don't want them to.
Correct.
So is it pilot? That's isolated.
You're isolated. Correct.
Okay, so that's everybody talking.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Good. Okay, got that. And
just to the right of the compass card, you get your remote for your ELT.
okay.
And that's about it.
Fire extinguisher and first aid kit in the rear compartment. Cool. Okay, so the switch is off. Master's Avionics is off. little wet compass out here. Fuel tanks. So how big are the long range tanks, and do they go out more into the wing, or?
They do. They go more out. They pretty much will. You have the center section, and then they're actually in the main wing.
And how much bigger are they?
You know, I have forgot what they. I think it's another 15 gallons a side.
Okay, I mean that would kind of make sense.
Yeah.
So you're saying now is it actually a whole nother tank out there because the wing comes off there, or is it two tanks connected?
It would be a whole nother tank.
Whole nother tank, okay.
And then they plumb that other tank into the main tanks.
Yeah. So if you were flying just local rides or something like that, is there a way just to shut that tank off so you're not getting that weight?
Well, you could, but you still, the airflow in my experiences has been, when you have that tank out here in this main wing, it tends to disrupt the airflow, so they tend to fly a little bit different, even empty.
I see. Okay, so it's not the weight.
It's not the weight as much as just disrupting the airflow across the
Huh. That's a pretty nice hard thing for the passengers to stand on. All right. 0, 0, 0. What am I doing? There we go. Oh, that's a pretty nice size. And you're saying this has got like a 75-pound limit or something? Fire extinguisher.
Yeah, you get your max baggage of 75 pounds.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice little setup.
And then the gentleman, Pete Bowers, that kind of runs the Waco factory up in Michigan, was kind enough to send me a canopy cover, which Eric couldn't find, so they let me borrow it, and that's somewhere, so I'll figure out. I think it's a strap one, so
yeah, and it basically should have some bungees to it, and you can tie it off on the steps on the gear legs, and then you can tie it underneath the belly when you get your destination.
I just realized there's a step right there. That's pretty cool. I mean, man, overall this looks really pretty nice. You know, I mean, I know it's had a lot of use, and you're saying this thing's got like what, 7,000 hours on it?
7,000 hours, and
whoa, and the engine's about due maybe another 150, 120, 150 hours before a TBO.
That's correct.
Before we overhaul it, so we get home, play with it a little bit, and at some point when we want to do, serious about a ride operation, we'll have the airplane really gone through.
She's primarily all that hours have been put on right in Sedona, and in numerous other cross countries to different events, open rides. And
do you have any idea how many rides you've given in this airplane?
Kermit, I couldn't even imagine to tell you. I lost count, my friend. I lost
God.
count a lot.
Oh my God.
Still today, I have a lot of people coming back. Where's the biplane? Where's the biplane?
Where's the biplane?
And again, it's a hard thing to look in the face and say, unfortunately, we're just not hopping rides anymore.
Oh my God, you're gonna have to go to Florida.
I have to go to Florida, see Kermit.
So, okay, so we got a little data plate back here. Waco, I don't know if you can see that. Okay, now you were saying something about this is not an original tailwheel design?
Now that's Waco's design.
New Waco's design.
New Waco's design, correct. Definitely very sturdy.
And what did they originally have?
You know, the original design was a little more giving. I can't tell you if it was another assembly that they used on the original YMF-5s. But I know that it had much more give to it. And,
so this is some kind of a shock absorber too.
It's got a kind of a puck system.
Oh, I see. They're just little rubber bungees in there sandwiched in, kind of like on a Ford Tri-motor. Man, there's enough grease in there.
Another thing, Kermit, when you're at different airports and these noisemaker helicopters, you just want to be real careful that you don't have a helicopter taxiing by, and these rudders are, as you very well know, with your birds being fabric and whatnot, they're pretty light, and you always want to check your eye bolts to make sure that one's not sheared from if it got a gust of wind.
You say an eye bolt, you mean for the here?
The attach points for the rudder, correct.
Yeah.
And then your tension springs.
Oh my God, those are rod end bearings.
Those are rod end bearings, correct.
Oh be darned, that's interesting. So there's a little bit of a ball bearing inside that little thing right there.
So you want to be real careful since you don't really have a gust lock for the rudder.
Yeah. I should have brought one. We've got these little ones that fit up on the deal there, but I'll tie this stick back.
Other thing is on your elevator, the elevator blocks. Of course, a lot of vibration from the little shaky Jake. You want to make sure that elevator blocks and elevator attach point, that's pretty common on that kind of play. That's normal. Checking the inner block also, just making for check for wear, general wear.
And the trim on this is a stabilizer that goes up and down in the front.
Correct. You've got a whole jack screw assembly right here.
Yeah, and it goes a long way.
Got quite a bit of travel. There is, in the event that it was to run away, you've got a block there that it won't allow it to go past a certain point.
Yeah, I see
on the
right
jack
there.
screw assembly.
Yeah. Up and down. That's interesting. Yeah. So the reality is, I remember you saying one time you were about to take off, and all of a sudden you felt something, and the elevator cable broke.
Gone. Yeah.
So theoretically, you could somewhat fly it with the trim, but you couldn't move it fast enough.
But again, Herman, with these airplanes, I'm a big believer in training with doing rudder oscillations, falling leaf. Great exercise for your feet, being a tailwheel pilot, especially in the Waco. But yeah, the airplane essentially can be flown power's pitch, as we know.
Say again?
Power's pitch.
Yeah.
And then, again, with your feet, with the rudder. Lots of rudder authority, good rudder authority. And
when you say rudder, what you saying rudder, moving the rudder or something? What were you saying?
Just using the rudder. And again, if you were to, let's say not even, forget the ailerons. If you neutralize the ailerons, again, plenty of rudder authority.
Yeah, to bank it.
To bank it back and forth. It's a very, very stable platform, very stable bird.
It's got a little
Very
bit of
straightforward.
dihedral in it.
Yeah, she's a great bird for stability.
Yeah, you can see it's got a pretty good amount of dihedral in it. Okay, so here we are doing some paperwork. We got to do paperwork for the FAA. Every job, you got to have paperwork, and so I got to change out the registration, which means we got a bill of sale. We got to mail all this stuff in. So you got to have an airworthiness. You got to have registration. So let me get his registration out because he's got to mail it back to the FAA, saying the airplane is sold. And then I've got a temporary one. This little pink slip guarantees me 90 days. But anyway, we'll put the other one in the mail today. Okay, the mission is a success. We're legal. That's assuming the money came in and we got the wire transfer done. It's got a GPS in the airplane. It's panel mounted, but I don't know how to use it. And I'm going to try and remember the one that I had. The one that I had, I haven't used in a while. I brought the C-47 across the Atlantic, so hopefully it'll get me home. Plus I got sectional and a Rand McNally Road Atlas, most important thing. We're going to do a little bit of a pre-flight, what Eric does.
So, hub, skull cap or spinner, airbox, safety on the hasp, and I'm looking at the cylinder bases.
Looking for the cotter pins on this.
Cotter pin on it, correct. And
We said the cylinder bases.
Just,
What do you say?
Just taking a look, make sure there's no weepage or anything on the
Right.
cylinder bases.
Right.
Everything looks good. Everything's free. There's nothing on the cow. And then I come over to the diamond plates. Forward diamond plate, aft diamond plate. Make sure they're not cracked. Aft bolt, stand off top, stand off bottom, and then I'll come to the back side with the panel open and look at the accessories, the remote oil filter, just looking at the oil box as you're looking up from the bottom.
That's the remote oil filter right there?
Correct, and then you can see the oil tank, I should say. Make sure that there's not any cracking or chafing. It's not because of the way it sits on top of
And that's the cap, and I checked that earlier.
And then, of course, I check the oil. It's 4 gallons. And then I'll hop up top, and I'll check the fuel
I checked
visually.
that.
And then I'll come and take a look at the attach points on the center section,
Yep.
forward and aft. Then I come down, gear leg, wheel pant,
Yep.
wires
Check that.
again. Wires aren't chafing. Broomstick is intact. And then I'll kind of grab the struts and just kind of give it a little side motion to make sure no movement on the attach points for the forward spar, and then same up top, and then same on the aft attach points on the aft spar.
Mm-hmm.
And then aft spar, attach points. I'll come under, take a look at the bell crank, cotter key, and the bell crank.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Front and back.
Okay. Half moon, attach points, push pull tube, both top and bottom, secure, and secure on top.
Yep.
And looking at the general condition of the top and bottom wing, compass. I want to make sure because people tend to accidentally hit their head on the compass. Could loosen up. Down the side of the fuselage, baggage compartment locked and secured. Again, jack screw. Visual look at the jack screw assembly. I'll look underneath. Check the wires.
Yep. I'd looked at all
Tension
this
springs.
earlier. Mhm.
Okay. Now
And
we're
the
gonna-
tension springs are for just to go to the tail wheel?
correct.
Right, okay, so it's acts as a dampener.
Correct. And then again,
Yep.
free and
Checked all that.
clear on the elevator. And then the
Rod and
rod
bearings.
ends. Yep, rod end bearings. Okay. Upper wire. Again, same thing again. Half moons. Tension wire and cable, rotor cable. And lower wire.
How often do y'all grease the tail wheel back there?
Every 100.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Down the fuselage again. In the condition of top and bottom wing. And once again, we're repeating inspection.
Oh, actually, you pull panels off on the bottom
Yeah, you can.
and get to
Well, you can actually get to a lot of all this up here.
Correct. The
Yeah.
forward and aft controls. Yeah. And then
Yep.
bell crank and cotter key assembly.
Check those earlier.
Look at the piano hinges on the ailerons. Again, half moons on push pull tube. Okay, self-locking nuts are still there attached. Yep. Bottom half strut. No movement, no play, no chafing, no black.
No ground loops.
Top and bottom again on the strut. General condition of the wires, broomstick.
These here inspection plates, are there compression members in there where
There is.
the wires go?
Yes.
We're tightening the wires,
Yep.
okay. So that's standard on all the wings.
Correct. And then again, wheel pant, and then I'm coming up, cabane wire, and then I'll visually check the fuel.
Yep, I
Up
already
top.
checked it.
Then I'm gonna come down, I'm gonna stick my head in here, and again, look at the backside accessories, look at the oil box, make sure no chafing, no oil leaks or anything funky going on there.
Yep. Where's the, we just looked at there a little bit, okay. And he mentioned that inside the engine mount they actually have like some red dyed linseed oil, so if you ever get a crack, you start seeing like red dye come out, then you know you got a crack in the engine mount.
Then again, I'll stick my head behind cowl,
Yep.
upper standoff, lower standoff. I'll come down, exhaust, and then I'm gonna take a look at, again, the sump screen for oil, and then
That's for draining the oil.
correct.
Yeah.
There's another internal
Yeah,
screen, a
right.
secondary screen. And come back up, diamond plate aft, diamond plate forward. And Kazan, we're back where we started.
Okay, now where do you sump
Now
the
that
fuel
was
tanks?
my very last thing, and let me grab a bucket.
I am pre-flighting to go fly.
You left the fuel on? Go forward with the fuel?
Yeah, pretty sure. Yep, we'll know soon enough.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Yeah, it's missing the tube.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. So there's a one on each side?
Nope, that's the one.
That's the
it.
only one.
That's the only one.
Oh, okay, all right. All right, looks pretty good to me.
Clean.
All right.
And that concludes it.
And then I've already run it up in the front here because if I'm not taking a passenger, I want to make sure that that's there. I tied all the belts off, left the cushion so the cushion can't fly out of the airplane. Everything up here is secure. Okay. And then I've got the parachute, helmet, all that stuff in the back. I've already set that up. So anyway, okay. Let me close off the little deals. I got a little pouch over here to carry a lot of my stuff in. Now I'm going to close off all the little deals over here. Okay. Alrighty. Well, we kind of pretty much got it pre-flighted. I got the back cockpit all set up. I think it's time to push this puppy out. Pull it out, I guess. Push it out.
I think you should go over the boxes when you're ready.
Oh yeah, yeah, ready?
Yep, all right. Just tell the helicopter,
Yep, clear.
come straight, and then I'll give it a tug here in a second. Once you're clear.
Yep. I should be clear to chains now.
Okay.
Man, this is not something that you roll out on your own. God, this thing weighs a ton. So you want to point it downhill?
We can just let the tail naturally swing to the airplane's right.
Okay. Okay.
Second.
Now, do you pull it through at all?
Yeah, let's
Let me get in before we do that.
rags. And you can hold the brakes, that'd be great.
Okay, I'm pretty much ready, pretty much strapped in, and Eric's gonna pull it through. So I got the brakes on.
Okay, brakes on, mixture back, throttle back.
Yep.
Master off.
Master's off, fuels in. This is forward.
Magnetos are off.
Magnetos are off.
Okay.
Yep, everything's off. This is the first test flight in over 5 years.
Okay, you're wet. Here we go. Clear. There she is.
except I don't think the airspeed works. Unless it climbs at 50 and cruises at 65. But when I took off, I got going and I was like, it was still reading like 0. So I just kept going because I could feel it. So most of my climbs were probably pretty shallow because I didn't have the speed. But you know, it was a new airplane. But after a while, I started climbing a little bit more. Anyway, we need to blow out the pitot lines is the problem. So, okay, so avionics off, alternators off, masters off, mags. Do you just shut the fuel off or leave them on?
I would shut it off.
Yeah, that's what I always do. So
Just in case the float sticks, or
Yeah,
that's a pressure carburetor. But
then if it doesn't start, then you know why. But good, no, it was good. I mean, when I did the run up, I thought, God, is this thing gonna have some vibration in the air? There's, you know, certain harmonics at certain RPMs. But once it was in the air, it was fine. It was, you know, fine flying. But I thought, you know, let me put 30 minutes on it, even though I didn't have any airspeed. You know, I think I did 1 pass and maybe four touch and goes, landing or whatever. I still want a 3-point at least when I get back to my place. But, you know, Eric said to 2-point it, so that's what I did. So I think I did, it was good. I like it. Kermie Cam, over and out.